thing about transition skating versus street skating is like, it's all about exposure therapy. So like you have to do things over and over and over so they're not as scary. So I want to do another one. That was scary.
All right, haven't skated all year. It's been like 2 weeks, I've been injured, so it's one of those things where I've been seeing all these videos about people making like New Year's resolutions and what they're gonna be doing differently this year and all that kind of stuff. And I've never been big on New Year's resolutions, or I shouldn't say never, but in the last like 5 years, I just feel like I'm more likely to make like kind of goals and new resolutions, not New Year's resolutions, but like kind of setting new boundaries or new things I want to achieve around my birthday time. I don't know why, I feel like that's more, you're more likely to do it because you're like a certain year, especially after like 35, you're like, all right, now I want to do this, that, or the other thing. However, though, my New Year's resolutions to set up a new board, because I've been riding the same board for the last like 2 months. I kind of get to that point sometimes where I'm just like, oh, it's so bad, just keep running it. And I'm actually just gonna leave these stickers on. I feel like sometimes they don't matter. I hate how Polar puts 2 different stickers on here. Like, I'm glad they put the size on there, but I wish it was just not a sticker. Pretty committed to these 8.5s. This is David Stenstrom. I think that's how you say his last name, board. Pretty cool part about that is I've seen him skating for so long. First time I went out to Malmo, which is probably like 10 years ago now. Maybe even longer, honestly. I remember seeing him in Oski. It's pretty cool. But yeah, we're gonna set up a new board, get my first skate session of the year. No New Year's resolutions. Honestly, the only thing I want to do this year is more of what I have been doing. That's gonna sound like super egotistical, but I don't know. I think sometimes I see all these people setting new skate goals or new things they're gonna do this year, and I'm like, oh, do I need to do that? But I think that's just like a pressure influence. You don't need to set no New Year's resolutions. I don't know. For me, I think I did a lot of changes over the course of the last 7 months, because that was my birthday. It was in July. One of the big things I've done is stop smoking weed for my health so I can keep skating more, and I actually took meat out of my diet too, and I've made videos about those sort of type of things, so we won't go too far into all of that. Today I really just want to get back in the groove. I've kind of been on this stunt, which I told myself not to do, was just making DIY skate videos and not just like skate vlogs where I go and like skate a park or skate a spot. So that is what this is going to be. So if you don't like the videos where I just go and skate spots or skate parks, then you're probably not going to enjoy this one. After I set this board up, I want to go to the park and break it in, because the thing about a lot of the spots that I like to skate is they do tear your board up pretty fast. So like whenever I have a new board, I want to try to break it in at a skate park. At least get like a couple sessions before it's like completely destroyed. Filing the edge, I'm gonna just do it ever so slightly. I think it helps like kind of define that edge when you're using the razor blade. And the reason I didn't do it last time, because I was influenced by Brad Comer. So maybe that's my New Year's resolution, is not to be influenced, which is hard to do in today's day and age. You just do things, you see things, you're like, oh, that's cool, let me do that. I'm not making any New Year's resolutions, honestly, just, I don't know, doing the same thing. I think one thing the last 2 years that I've been doing a lot of is trying to learn new tricks or skate different spots than I normally skate. I'm skating a lot more street. But I think the thing about that is if you don't use it, you lose it. And what I mean by that is like, I feel like my transition skills have been lacking, which is kind of where I'm, I don't know, proficient in, I guess. Spent a lot of time when I was in my youth learning how to skate transition. So this year I want to, not this year, in general, I don't care about it being this year. In general, I just want to not lose that, not lose touch with like what I really enjoy. I think a lot of that is just because I like skating with the homies, and a lot of my local homies do tend to skate more street spots and stuff, and I love skating street. I did get one session recently, actually after the New Year's, but I didn't skate. I was just kind of on the session, watching the homies, going to spots and stuff, and that's fun. I'm gonna leave one little stripe right there with the saying. What does the saying say? I didn't even read it. Skating is like drugs. You just have to skate. I believe that's David's dad that put that in there. The nice part is there is some new parks coming up, and I think that's the reason I haven't been skating transition as much, is kind of get burnt on going to a lot of the same skate parks around here. I feel like I end up doing a lot of the same tricks, but I think a lot of that is just like in my head, and you know, I think the repetition is okay. Sometimes I feel like it's kind of boring to film the same tricks at the same park, but At the same time, I think you can get different angles, maybe just add on a grab here and there. So yeah, I've been pretty exclusive to the 8.5s now, which is pretty crazy because for the longest time I was going up and up and up, but I think 8.5 has been that good in between. When I'm getting to the big transitions, which is what I slammed on, I was doing a frontside air and like probably some like 13, 12 foot transition at the park we're gonna go to in a second. I did slip out the bottom and I just feel like I didn't have enough board. My heels like fell off the board and I just slammed onto my hip, onto my hand. It sucks because it was just like one of those random ones where I just rolled into the transition, did it really quick, and I mean, you're never really expecting to slam. I mean, you shouldn't be kind of planning to slam. Maybe you should be if you're trying a really hard trick, but it was like kind of one of those tricks where I have it. I was actually working on a video recently of like relearning frontside air, so I was like trying to get into the groove of doing it, but yeah, it took me out on the bottom of the transition. I think having the smaller board was a disadvantage with that. I do believe that. So I still have my bigger board set up, and I think for like bigger transition, I should just keep going to the bigger board because it's more stable. I think the 8.5 is kind of, it's nice. Like once you get to like 10 feet high transition, I think that's when like the smaller board becomes a problem. I have a size 10 foot. I think that matters too. Like if you have a smaller foot, 8.5 is probably gonna be fine. But I do like it because I feel like for Jersey barriers or for DIY spots, like, you know, a tight transition, even backyard pools, like 8.5 is good. Just once you get to the vert and there's a couple feet of vert, I think just a little bit of a bigger board is kind of nice. More stable, ultimately. I'm still running these Ace Hollow Hardware Allen heads. And I am still running my Lurpiv trucks. Same trucks. I actually do have new ones sitting on the ice, but imagine. I've done this before, like just put the truck on fully backwards. Hey, we're not all immune to idiocracy. It's possible. But yeah, I kind of want to just keep running these for a long, like I want to skate these trucks for a whole year. That's the goal. And then do like an updated review on them. Because there's some things where I'm starting to realize like, okay, there's some negatives. Very few negatives, but I want to be critical. You know, I haven't done much product reviews or anything like that because there's nothing that's like really sparking me right now to make such a product review. Just me and my wife have a company that I help her run, and that's been keeping me busy, so I haven't been skating as much as I would like to. So I feel like when I'm skating more, I'm more likely to like be in tune with like what I'm liking or not liking. But if you're not skating that much, you're only skating like once a week, it's hard to like really kind of notice those smaller things. But I am still running these big wheels, and I'm liking them. And if someone was like, hey, like you have to ride one size for the next year, I'd say 54 millimeter conical split fire Formula 4 99D, sorry. Got a nice little groove on that back truck. It's looking pretty good. This is when they're prime. I feel like once you get down to that like nice lock spot groove, that's when you don't want to change your trucks. There is a new park I want to go check up on. Maybe we'll do a little checkup on it after we go break this board, and I'll show you. And it's close to me. I'm excited. It's kind of, it's a funny situation because a lot of the dudes that used to skate this park, it's called John Landis. Any locals will know exactly what I'm about to say. It was definitely a street-oriented skate park, which is why I really liked it. They just had a box there, a flat rail, and then one other ledge. It's literally like 3 obstacles for a couple years, ever since I've lived in Oceanside. Now they're making it definitely more transition-oriented. And I think a lot of people are kind of bummed on that because a lot of the North County parks where I live here in San Diego are transition-focused, which is great for me. I'm happy about it. I think it looks amazing, but it's one of those things where like they sort of took, in my opinion, a lot of street skaters' enjoyment, like having a skate park with a lot of flat ground, which is something that's hard to find out here. It sounds so silly, but just not tons of obstacles and just good flat ground where you can skate without being bothered. They took that away. It's a lot of transition. Like so far, I haven't seen any street obstacles that they've built there. It's almost all transition. Because Grindline is building it right now. The design, the approved design from the city is way different than what they ended up doing. Not way different, but it's a lot different. I think ultimately, sometimes these skate park groups, they'll just do what they want. Because what is the city gonna do? Just bust it out, you know? Like the skateboard design groups will like follow the general like layout and plan, but then they'll tweak things. And this skate park is actually, I've seen it happen before a lot, especially like Dreamland does it, and I like it. Let's be clear, like I enjoy transition, and I like when they kind of do it differently than what the city says to do or what the city approves. Like Grindline and Dreamland, they know what they're doing. Like they're good at what they do. So sometimes it's like, just because the skate park design gets approved doesn't mean they always have to follow it. They know what's best. Haley, Idaho is kind of like that. They went like, I think like 4 feet deeper in the bowl than they were approved for, but city gonna bust it out afterwards and it cost them so much money. So let's get the rails on this bad boy. I should probably try to find some super glue really quick. Found the good stuff, the super glue. Last time I didn't use glue on my rails and I had to move them. I like reset them on because they were falling off. So I'm back on the glue program. Don't need a whole lot, just a little line. Place it right where I want it. Not in the wheel wells. So now let's go break this board in at the park. We'll get a little session on the ramp when I come home, but we'll also check out that park I mentioned. Maybe hit a spot or two. Just go break this bad boy in. I think the first thing I'm gonna warm up on is this quarter pipe behind me. It's only like a foot or 2 feet high with noping on it. Just a good way to kind of get the board going. I just rode on it for a second, and man, a new board feels so good after like you don't set one up for a long time. So I think sometimes it does hold you back if you just use gear forever, but sometimes it's also nice to feel the advantage of something new. If you're always setting up new stuff, you don't get that feeling of like what a new board or new wheels or new bearings really feels like. Since it is a new year, I can't help but think about like what I've been doing for the past year or 2 years even, and I think a lot of it's been focusing on learning new tricks and skating street, and particularly like doing things outside my comfort zone. A lot of flip tricks, things like that. I have learned inverts in last year and stuff. So I guess the point that I'm getting at is like I haven't done back nose blunt in so long since I haven't really been skating that much transition, so it feels good. We're gonna move on to some metal coping. Had a little warm-up session on the noping, felt good. Board's getting into a good groove. You don't really need to break in a board, but it just feels really nice and snappy. After we hit the metal quarter pipe, maybe we'll hit the bowl and some flat ground. Jacket is cool and all, but it's getting too hot. Something I was just thinking about is the old like use it or lose it type of situation. So speaking of that, I'm kind of just running through tricks that I haven't been doing in a while that I need to keep doing because I think they're like special tricks to me. Like I love them. I just don't do them enough because I'm always like distracted by learning new tricks and progressing. That's skateboarding, MD, ABD, MBD. It's like a whole part of it, right? Like a lot of skateboarding is about progression, but sometimes just doing the old, same old shit is really important. So with that said, I want to do a frontside nose grind yank out. Something that I was really excited when I learned it, and I kind of just like been sleeping on it too much. So I'm gonna try to get one right now. The thing about transition skating versus street skating is like, it's all about exposure therapy. So like you have to do things over and over and over so they're not as scary. So I want to do another one. That was scary. But they say true to make it true. It's really windy over here, so I'm actually gonna move along. I take it back. I'm gonna do like 3 more tricks just to keep it going. Like back tail's another one. I just wanna rifle off a couple tricks, and then I'm gonna try to get some flat ground. It's just really windy right now. Obviously having the 58mm wheels, I'm gonna get more wheel bite with flat ground, but for me it's like worth it. Like getting wheel bite a couple times, flat ground versus like having the big wheels to go really fast. And for the spots I like to skate,
I still think it's worth it. I don't know, maybe I'll make a review about bigger wheels and street skating versus transition skating or something in the future, but whew, those flat ground tricks took it out of me. That was like the hardest part of this whole session so far. So let's get some water, jump in the bowl. All right, I'm gonna save some energy because me and my buddy Big Guy, they were gonna hit a park, and yeah, Andrew Callahan and the Channel 5 guys are here to do an interview with Phil, which is rad. So I'm gonna say what's up and then keep moving on. Probably hit another park today.